We'll start siguro from the beginning. Fresh out of the academy, and then you were posted immediately kay Chief of Staff FBR.
Not yet, actually. My first encounter with then General Fidel V. Ramos was him as the Chief Philippine Constabulary, and I was the awardee of the award, Chief PC Award, being the number one member of my class joining the constabulary. So that was our first encounter.
What
Then-
year was that?
That was on March 22, 1985.
Graduation.
My graduation. And after that, I volunteered to join the Philippine Constabulary Special Action Force,
SAF.
SAF. Yes.
Father of the SAF thing.
Yes, I was the one who organized SAF. So then, of course, from 1985 to 1986, yung developments of the EDSA, People Power Revolution. Of course, SAF was
Ba't ka nag-PC? Ba't ka nag-SAF? Idol mo si FBR, ano?
part of it, yes, because he is my kababayan. I come from Asingan, Pangasinan.
Same
Normally,
town.
yeah, same town. He's my town mate. And a distant relative of my oldies. In fact, the cousin of my grandfather used to be a driver of
Of FBR.
his parents.
His parents.
So
Secretary.
he's from Poblacion West, I'm from Poblacion East. So
Magkabila lang.
Oo.
Okay, so you were town mate. So I wasn't I was trying to be I was kidding, but actually totoo pala. So he was like FBR was like a role model to
Yes, of course.
you, your town mates.
Yes, since I was a cadet, of course, I've been hearing about him, and we look at him as, as a very prominent resident of my hometown. I would say a small town in Pangasinan, but we have famous people like him. So when I entered the academy, he's part of, he was one of my role models. And during the draw lots before graduation, I got constabulary. So my fate brought me to the constabulary. It was not a matter of choice. So I would say it's destiny, maybe. But the choice of assignment, I volunteered for the Special Action Force. I wanted to try the best and the most difficult assignment after graduation from PMA.
So, dagdagan ko pa lang yan, siguro. Ano yung reputation ni FBR among, nasa cadet corps ka, AFP, and then also among the military at that time?
I was following his career, and I would say he was one of the last, very professional officers. Remember, in 1985, that was the height of the Ver and Ramos faction, I would say, because after the 1983 Ninoy assassination, Ver went on leave, and he was the acting chief of staff.
Oo nga, no?
He was the acting chief of staff then. Then, during my graduation, that was about the time that Ver was reinstated as chief of staff.
Oo nga, bumalik siya.
Bumalik siya after the Agraba Commission or something.
Yes.
It was the time.
Oo. Ano yun? He was viewed as professional, walang kinikilingan. What was the impression? What was the impression?
Sa amin, mga junior officers and especially the RAM, idol siya ng mga RAM members.
Talaga?
During my graduation, that was the first time na unfurl yung revolutionary, yung Reform the Armed Forces of the Philippines Movement, RAM. Reform the Armed Forces pa noon, hindi pa yung RAM na revolutionary. And that was the start of it, because parang napupunta sa kanya na because of the too much, I would say, yung si Ver masyadong associated kay President Marcos then.
Politicized.
So, politicized na yung armed forces. So, yung mga PMAers was gravitating towards General Fidel V. Ramos.
And then you volunteered.
Yeah, I volunteered to join SAF.
Nagbugbogan yun. But,
At first, I didn't know na wala naman akong idea na sinasabi nila sariling army ni Fidel. Or, that was not, I really didn't know anything about it.
can you say that again? What did SAF mean?
SAF, sariling army ni Fidel. That was how it was perceived because he organized it in 1983, 84. Then kami yung mga pioneers, the class of 1982, 83, 84, up to 85. Led by General Velasco and General Rason. Sila Sir Cantoy, General Alcantara. So they were part of the original Special Action Force.
The pioneers. But it was also, they say that the training was one of the toughest.
Yes. Because the organizers of SAF, of course, si President Ramos, graduate siya ng Special Forces, Army, Special Forces. Sila General Rason, they had their own training sa US Rangers and all other officers. So they conceptualize what a SAF commando is. So even the trainings, the doctrines, etc. So yun, during his time as chief of the constabulary, kaya nabuo yun.
Ano yun? So hindi pwedeng pipitsugin na?
Hindi. Talagang mahirap yung training. And I would say, talagang elite. Napakaliit pang unit nun.
Yeah. So may like how many were you when you started and how many were you that survived?
The members of our class, we were 9 volunteers lang sa PMA class 85.
Okay.
There were other officers from class
The other services.
84, 83, 82, 79. Yeah. So it was a small group of officers. So kami yung naging core group, we started to train and eventually lumaki yung SAF until what it is now, yung size niya.
Oh, okay. Ano yung personality ni FBR nun? Ano yung, I mean, you were a junior officer at that time, and he was may estrella na, no? So ano yung tingin niyo sa kanya? I mean, stricto ba or one with the boys, gano'n?
Well, when it comes to work and professionalism sa trabaho, he's really very strict, especially sa scheduling niya. He follows a very strict schedule, very organized. Very organized siya. In fact, nakopya namin yun. Hindi lang ako. I would say, yung mga naging immediate boss ko, sila General Rason. Natuto kami sa kanya. Okay. Na until mag-regional director ako, until my retirement, marami akong nakopya sa kanya. Yung kanyang work ethics. I observed him when I was second lieutenant. Ganun pala yun. General ka from a point of view of a second lieutenant. Doon ako natuto. That's why, nung naging police general na rin ako, nai-apply ko yung natutunan ko sa kanya.
Now, tell me, you already mentioned it, na it was a time of ferment, 85, 86. Kapansin-pansin ba kay FBR na medyo he was already rethinking yung position niya as a professional military soldier as against his the political and civilian authority at the time? What was the talk among the men?
Yeah, of course, inner group, usap-usapan lang, he was very patient. He waited up to the last minute talaga to break up with with his commander-in-chief then, President Ramos. I mean Marcos. No? You would see from him na up to the last minute, very professional siya until he resigned and he withdrew his support from the leadership of Marcos. So siguro na binigyan niya na rin ng weight yung sentiment ng mga tao during that time. So sa amin naman sa SAF, and we believe in his cause. That's why when he broke away from Marcos, yung buong Special Action Force supported him and joined the initial parang rebel movement. Kami yung original together with the DND naman kay Senator Minister Enrile noon, no? Led by Gringo Honasan.
Yung RAM.
Kami, we were with Colonel Velasco then and Major Rason. So kami yung SAF naman, other component nung RAM.
So you were with RAM? You were member ka ba?
Yeah, we were, but not in the core group. Parang affiliate or sa informal member, supporter.
Okay,
You know.
okay. All right. Shortly, but were you already part of FBR's staff o you were still at SAF?
I was I would say SAF muna, no? Initially, my formal attachment with FBR was on March 1, 1986. That was immediately after
na.
The February Revolution. I was designated as one of his security officers.
Oh, okay.
So, yun yung formal entry ko sa kanyang office, sa kanyang inner group.
Oh, but prior to that, you
was
were
one of the
officers
ng SAF.
Special Action Force. Or
So,
ano yung Special Army? Ano? Sariling army ni Fidel. Okay. All right. From junior officer, now you were part of the nag-iba ba? O nakita mong mas stricto pa pala ito kaysa sa...
that's part of his maybe his training and upbringing as an officer na nadala niya. Kita mo naman until now yung kanyang style of work. Ganon talaga sa when you have undergone military training, yung regimented yung life schedule, very organized. Ganyan siya, kita mo yung even yung lalabas niya yung kanyang schedule na nakatiklop.
Yes.
Even yung box niya na nasa kotse. Yung sariling files niya. He keeps his highly confidential files to himself. Ganun siya.
Close to him.
Close
But how did you adapt? I mean,
well, of course, that special box, we don't touch it.
But what I mean is, how did you adapt? I mean, from regular SAF duties. Now you were, you were close-in security officer of the highest-ranking military official of that time. Chief of Staff na siya, di ba? He was designated by Mrs. Aquino. And then you had to adapt to his work style. So, alas 3:30, alas 4, gising ka rin. So, what was it like? Anong kwento mo?
Of course, part of my responsibility is to make sure that my boss would be able to perform his duties and responsibilities as general, as chief of staff, or as president during that time. Kailangan yung personal needs niya maasikaso mo kagad, ma-anticipate mo especially. He does not want yung yung mangangapa ka pa. That's why when he became president, he wanted his ADCAMs and close-in security personnel to be yung may experience na sa kanya. Because as special forces guy, isang tingin lang sa kanya, isang senyas lang, you would know kung anong kailangan niya.
Understood.
Yeah. By eye contact lang kaming dalawa, ma-predict ko na what he needs or what does he want. Kung halimbawa, let's say ayaw niyang makausap or makita yung tao na yon, magtitingin na. Then the aide would, do something para hindi naman mapahiya yung boss. Parang ako na yung ako na yung kakausap doon.
Sir, may schedule ka na. We need to move.
Sir, nagmamadali kami, hindi kayo maharap ni boss. Something like that. You have to give an acceptable excuse to deal with the person.
Does that also mean that you have to wake up earlier than he does? Kaya di ba he wakes up?
Yes, he wakes up very early. So we have to always be one or two steps ahead of him. But sometimes, there were a couple of times or several times, talagang nauna siya. There was a funny incident when we were at Arlegui, doon din kami natutulog. He went down, went straight to the car. We're still asleep.
Hala.
So we had to scramble, brush your teeth. We had to hold the driver. Don't ever go to the car yet. Baka sabihin ni boss, let's go. Wala pa yung mga aid.
Naiwanan kayo na.
So we had to catch up.
Pagka ganun, anong nangyayari dun?
Okay
Does he
naman.
get mad? Does he,
No,
or
no.
he just waits there and then...
He waited during that time. He just kept himself busy with the newspapers. Sa kanya yung newspapers are sources of information. Parang nung wala pang internet yan. Sa kanya ang first thing in the morning are the newspapers because this is where he gets his source of information.
Feedback.
Feedback nila.
Nagki-clipping na ba rin kayo nun?
Yes. Since chief of the constabulary siya up to chief of staff, up to SND, up to the president.
Talaga?
Ganon talaga siya.
PC pa
Chief
lang?
PC pa siya, no? Chief PC pa siya.
Doon na nagsimula yung... di ba,
Pati yung
clipping?
pag-organize niya ng files niya.
And the red pen.
And the red pen, of course.
Classic yun, ano? Classic.
When he gives his handwritten notes or instructions. So, when he was chief of constabulary, kung sakaling sa regional directors may lalabas na dyaryo, then he gives his instructions to the regional directors. Yun. Xerox na namin yung padala namin kagad yung regional director, regional commander at that time.
So, kailangan pala mag-alala ka pagka may red notes yung, yung dokumento mo. Let me get back to EDSA. Yung, aware ba kayo that FBR was going to break away?
Sa akin, wala.
Alam ninyong, was he part of it? Bahagi ba siya nung pagpaplano noon?
I was not part of the I would say inner group ng RAM, yung higher levels ng RAM nun. So sa amin usap-usapan lang na nagre-ready kami. Nagtataka lang ako noon, second lieutenant ako, nagre-ready yung unit ko ng mga ammunitions, provisions. Basta ready kami. We didn't know what was coming, but we were preparing.
Before EDSA?
Before EDSA.
So malamang may balak na si boss noon.
We really don't know.
So hindi kayo nagulat na kumalas siya?
Yeah. Nararamdaman na rin namin.
You had a premonition.
Na untenable na yung relationship niya with the,
Meron, okay. So and then buong SAF stood behind him. Was there a time na nag-aalala kayo na we might not survive this?
Of course, ano yun eh.
Hindi ba nagbabalak na magpadala ng tangke
Yeah.
at rockets?
There were several occasions during that the EDSA days, na talagang mataas yung tension. Papabomba ni Marcos yung Camp Crame. Ganun ba? So, even kami, direct confrontation. I was part of the contingent that recaptured yung yung
TP.
MIA, Manila International Airport.
Okay.
So it was controlled by forces sympathetic to Ver, Marcoses. So kami nung nagland kami, so medyo tensionado, tutukan. Pero hindi tayo talo, parang gano'n.
So ikaw nag-secure? So, ikaw pala yun. Alright. Okay. Okay. Sige. And then, Chief of Staff, you were assigned as security aide. Ano yung uh, may do's and don'ts ba? Yung trabaho as when you were with him, he was Chief of Staff. And then you also joined him nung nag-SND na siya.
No, I was not part. I was sent abroad on a schooling, training, ng SWAT training sa US.
Oh, okay.
On the day that he became SND. So I was never a part of his close-in security or his staff during his stint as secretary. Parang nag-rejoin na lang ako in 1993. President na siya.
Okay.
So after being his security officer and junior aide camp when he was chief of staff, I went back to the constabulary at several units, so field assignments. Then after that, yun nga, yung nag-rejoin na ako when he became president.
When he was president already. But so I suppose ilang ko yung nadaanan mo na
Yeah, marami.
suppose, well, officially 7. There are some who say it was 9, but ilan doon ang nadaanan mo na you were with FBR's detail?
Yung Manila Hotel, yung Tolentino,
Yeah.
I was duty with the boss then.
And then,
Yung
God
August
save-
27,
God Save the Queen.
God Save the Queen. Even the following November, meron pa yun pa yung ano eh. Yung August 27 was the bloody coup d'etat. Tapos yung God Save the Queen yung November.
Yeah, sumunod. Yeah.
I even accompanied him to the residence of then Minister Enrile. He was trying to convince Minister Enrile not to break up with yun, nag-usap silang dalawa. Ako yung duty noon.
So, nandun ka nung nag-uusap sila?
Nandun sila. Pinunta niya sa bahay ni Enrile sa Dasmariñas. So, tapos sila Gringo Hunasan and his men nandun sa security barracks nila doon. So, medyo tensionado na yun.
At that time?
Yes.
Okay.
Sabi ko nga sa yun, siya hanggat makakasunod siya sa Constitution, susunod muna siya. The only time na nag-break talaga siya, yun lang kay Marcos. After that, when he gave his loyalty and support to Cory Aquino, tuloy-tuloy na rin. He supported President Aquino then. All throughout. Kaya yung different coup d'etats, puro inopose niya yun.
Siya ang sumalag nun.
Siya, lahat yun.
And he was trying to convince Enrile to stay within the bounds of the Constitution.
Yung August 27, ang pinaka, I would say, challenging sa kanya. When then General De Villa called him up, nasa Alabang kami sa bahay. Tawag si General De Villa, sir, nag-move na yung mga RAM. Meaning sila Gringo, papunta ng Aguinaldo. Doon ako bumilib sa instinct ni boss. Sabi niya, okay, punta tayo ng Krame. Pero chief of staff na siya. Ang office namin sa Aguinaldo.
Oo nga.
Kung sa Aguinaldo kami, tumuloy. Nandun kami nasusunog. Hindi pa sinunog. All efforts ng RAM noon was directed at the general headquarters. Yun ang nilusob nila. Thinking FVR was nasa headquarters. They didn't know. Doon kami pumunta sa Camp Crame. Doon siya nag-set up ng kanyang command center. So we were observing the rebel soldiers attacking general headquarters. Si General Montaño yung naiwan doon sa headquarters. So we were communicating with General Montaño through the remaining hotline. Isang hotline na telephone lang ang naiwan because the rebels cut off lahat ng communications doon sa general headquarters.
He went back to his old office in
his old office with General De Villa doon sa Camp Crame.
matinik din si Sir, ano?
Yung galing yung kanyang instinct, sabi ko, believe ako dito kay boss.
Oh. But he trained for that, eh.
Yes, yes. As
Long time
intelligence
trained.
officer, as PSYOPs officer, as special forces. Yeah.
Oh. Given all those qualifications, no? And even bravery, did you think that at any point during nung panahon na yun na naka-post ka sa kanya, ito magiging Pangulo to? Naisip mo ba yun?
I had that first, I would say, I entertained that first thought when we were in Quezon. He was chief of staff. And it was, I think, inauguration ng Lopez Catanawan Road. It was really very vivid sa mind ko.
Okay.
Chief of staff ka, then si boss, nag-divert ng konti doon sa usual activities. He approached a public utility vehicle and started talking with the ordinary people.
Mga pasahero. Okay.
So, sabi ko, ano kaya to? Merong, doon ako nagsimulang mag-entertain. Possible. He was very popular eh. Sabi ko, pwede to siya.
Oh, Chief of EDSA hero.
EDSA hero. Talagang mabango siya noon. EDSA, after EDSA, chief of staff. Then, he started talking with some of these civilians. Hindi niya ginagawa dati yun.
Oh.
During yung mga previous duties ko sa kanya, hindi siya masyadong, alam mo naman siya tahimik lang siya.
Puro troops lang, tsaka sa
that was the
kampo.
first time I saw in him na nag-approach sa mga civilians. So, sabi ko nga, yung isang naka-trigger.
Parang namumuliti ka na si Sir. Talaga. So when he decided, na nalipat ka, no? You were yun yung yun yung cycle, eh, di ba? Command staff for rotation for your promotion and training, ano. So you were moved out and then he became Secretary of National Defense. So nung nag-decide siyang makikihalubilo siya dun sa LDP at lahat, hindi ka na nagulat nun?
Yes. But I was deployed abroad noon nung nag-announce siya.
You were on schooling.
Running. Nasa Cambodia ako noon, peacekeeping force. But my family joined yung activity sa Tagaytay. Ginather yung yung close friends and other people. Then doon siya first time doon siya first time nag-announce na he would be running as president. When he was secretary already.
Oh, SND, no?
SND.
Okay.
So, I was presented by my wife doon sa activity niya. So, sige, sabi ko tulong kami as a family.
Townmate. Okay. So when you got back, kailan ka na bumalik? Pangulo na siya nung nakabalik ka.
Yes, bumalik ako. Pangulo na siya. Pangulo na siya, 1992. That's why, pagbalik ko, 1993, nag-rejoin ako sa Presidential Security Group.
At PSG. And your specific assignment and duty was?
Hindi pa ako sa close-in noon. Yung first year ko sa PSG was with the PSG Training School. Sa free? PSG Training School. Then after 2 years PSG sa G3 and yung mga nag-advance party, nung nangailangan sila ng another officer sa close-in, that's why doon ako I was taken in as one of his close-in security officer.
So back to your old
close-in na
duty
ulit.
as when he was chief of staff. So paano na nag-iba yun? Kasi ito, chief of staff siya noon. Ito, highest official na. plate number 1 na
Mas
to.
complicated na yan. Siyempre, protocol-wise, yung responsibilities niya, mas malaki na, mas maraming, mas marami ng activities. Of course, the security is a lot different pag presidente na higher level na.
Paki-explica mo nga sa akin. Ano yung sakit ng ulo ng security close-in officer of the Commander-in-Chief?
Just to give you an idea, siyempre, yung meron kaming advance party sa mga engagements, nag-arrange, so, nagkakandak ng paneling, etc., chine-check ng UTK na, ganyan the usual. But sometimes si boss, tayo sa McDo.
Oh my God.
Punta sa McDo. Tigil tayo dyan.
Nagda-divert.
Okay. Just. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin, sir, hindi pwede. Hindi natin check yan. So, you have to adapt. Yun ang gusto ng boss. O kaya pupuntahan niya yung crowd, punta natin yung crowd. You have to adapt.
Na hindi ninyo na-secure.
Yes. And ayaw niya na yung brusko na yung style ng security, yung high profile. Minsan yung ayaw niya yun. Ayaw niya yun. Huwag niyong kawain yung mga tao.
Talaga? Ayun, sige, tell me, ano yung do's and don'ts? Yun, pagka yun engagement na ganun.
Number one, he does not like yung very high profile, very offensive style of security. In fact, nung chief of staff pa nga siya, ayaw niya nang may nakikitang security. Patago-tago pa kami nun. Yung ibang tropa namin, tinatago namin. Because he does not want too many security officers around him. So what we do is sometimes we send people in advance na hindi niya kilala.
Na I suppose naka-plain clothes.
Plain clothes. Ganun na lang namin sinisecure during his earlier days as chief of staff. Then eventually, nung nakita niya na talagang mataas din naman ang threat, slowly nag-adjust na rin siya ng kanyang standard or level of security. So hindi na kami nagka-problema nung dinagdagan na namin yung mga security. Kasi mataas nga dahil sa threat ng mga rebel soldiers, of course, other threat groups.
What about when he was already, yun nga, nung naging Pangulo na? So I suppose may plain clothes.
Yes, may advance party, merong nakatago na mga yung standby reaction force. May mga nakatago na yan.
And so nung chief of staff siya kamo, malupit na yung work schedule niya. So what was it like now that he was
President?
President?
Oh, yun nga, 4 o'clock, you have to get up very early, no? Up to late midnight sometimes, yung mga activities namin, tapos sunod-sunod, ano? Yung 2 araw namin na duty noon, talagang parang...
ano yun? How was it? Was there rotation
we were
ba?
2 sets, nagro-rotate kami.
Okay.
Noel Baraceros, nagpapalitan kami. So, kailangan fresh na naman after 2-3 days minsan, gano'n. But there were occasions na pareho kami naka-duty, especially trips abroad. Pag trips abroad, kasama kami pareho. And we support one another. Kami ni Noel Baracero. Si Noel ang partner ko noon as AD camp, kami nag-alternate.
Yeah.
So we have to be ready with all the documents. Kailangan na-review mo yun. Although dumaan na kay Colonel Arevalo yun as executive assistant. Siyempre, i-review pa namin yun para baka may kulang, merong ano, gano'n. So, naka-ready lahat yung documents na yun. Pag sinubo mo sa kanya, alam niya yun.
So, once in a while, he would ask you, ano ito?
Yes. Kaya, pagka, tawag mo yung kung sinong secretary concern, you know. Dapat may maisagot ko. Parang, ano sa kanya yun na when he asks something, you must have answers. Kung hindi man answers, you know who to refer that particular problem.
Paano pag hindi?
Yun ang nagiging cause ng irritation sometimes. Gaganon siya. Dapat alam niya yan. Ganun lang naman.
Paano magalit?
You would notice mag-i-stiffen ng konti yung voice niya. Pero ganun lang naman yun. Karinyo militar.
Okay. How do you adapt pagka ganun na?
pagka ganun, dapat i-correct mo. And yung sabi ko nga, you must be 1 or 2 steps ahead of him. Ma-anticipate mo kung ano yung questions niya, ma-anticipate mo kung ano yung needs niya. Isang senyas niya lang, yung senyas niya ba, ballpen ang kailangan niya o tabako? Or whatever. Ganon. Or drinks, or whatever.
Yeah.
You have to assist him. Para hindi na siya ma-distract dun sa mas importanteng trabaho niya as president.
Oo.
Sometimes, so halimbawa, may kausap siyang ambassador or presidente.
Okay.
Dapat naka-ready na yung mga kailangan yun, even the talking points. Siyempre, yung the talking points, it comes from for example, DFA or DOE. Gano'n. Naka-ready yun. Huwag mo siyang paharapin ng hindi mo prepare yun. Of course, he has to study it beforehand.
Oh. Grabe, ano? Anticipation talaga.
Anticipation. The better you anticipate his needs, the smoother yung kanyang araw. Kasi pag hindi mo na-anticipate, umaga pa lang, may irritate siya. So, masisira na yung araw niya.
I suppose there were times when, and I'll admit, there were a few occasions when I did see a bowling out.
Yes.
What were those like? Why would those incidents happen?
Of course, yung stress ng trabaho niya. No? And during the time na nagkasakit siya, meron yung time na yun. It was critical sa health niya. Doon namin nakita yung very irritable siya. And I was on duty during that time.
Kailan yun? Yung naoperahan siya? Okay.
Yung sa
Carotid.
Carotid. It was the second time na nag-stammer siya.
Oh.
The GM Cesar Sarino was the GSI's president. Tinginan kami. Nandun siya sa Malacanang, sa labas yung ilalim ng puno na malaki. Sabi ni GM Sarino, Manny, iba yan. Sabi niya gano'n. Parang umiksi yung dila. Hindi na intindihan yung sinasabi. All the while, we thought yung ininom niya lang na brandy kasi nag-shot siya ng brandy. Tapos bumaba kami. Nagsasalita siya, may kausap. I forgot kung sino kausap. Biglang hindi na intindihan yung sinabi niya. So sabi ni GM Serino, Manny, iba yan. Dali mo sa hospital. So, dinala muna namin doon sa guest house. Ayaw niya magpadala sa hospital. Tinawagan namin si Ma'am. Ma'am. Nung na-convince ni Ma'am na dalhin siya sa Makati Med.
Mrs. Ramos.
Diretso siya sa Makati Med. And yun yung operation. Mild stroke na pala yan.
Oh.
Mild stroke na pala. Kung hindi naagapan yun.
So kung hindi siya na-convince ni Mrs. Ramos?
Although naka-recover siya after 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, nung inupo namin.
Oo.
Yan.
You were there.
I was
Ikaw
there.
yung,
I was on
you
duty.
were on duty.
I was on duty on that day. Until nung dinala siya sa intensive care unit sa lahat ng test sa Makati Med. Alam mo naman sa Makati Med, yung chismis dyan na yung presidente dinala sa hospital. Kalat kagad dyan. So we had to take him doon sa pinakailalim pa sa... And we had to call and alert the vice president, of course. Part of the,
Yeah, part of the protocol. Were you worried?
Yes. Tingnan ko lahat ng test, lahat ng ginawa sa kanya. Kami lang nila mamang nandun. Ako and Ma'am. All the rest, wala na. Kitlabutan. Kami dalawa lang ni Mama nandun.
And it didn't show a very good results.
Yes, that's why they had to operate his carotid immediately.
Pasko nun di ba? December.
Yeah. And after that, yung recovery niya, amazing talaga yung recovery niya. Very, naman siya, yung bang he really, nakinig siya sa doctor niya, surprisingly. Sabi ni Ma'am, matigas ang ulo niya. Si Ma'am na yung sasabi, tigas ang ulo niya. Sumunod. But after yung operation niya, talagang very strict na yung kanyang diet. Tapos, every noon time, nagsiswimming na siya to keep himself fit. Kasi nakalimutan niya talaga yon during his initial years as president, medyo limited na yung kanyang exercises and everything. Hinahanap-hanap ng katawan niya yun eh. So, yun, nag-recover siya. And after that, okay na siya ulit.
Okay.
Yun talaga yung mga panahon before his mild stroke, yun yung medyo talagang madalas mainit ang ulo niya. So, stress ng trabaho talaga.
Kaya bumigay.
Oo, kaya bumigay. Stress talaga ng trabaho.
Okay. Okay. Now, the other reason why I asked you about the bowling out sessions was, as I shared with you earlier, off-cam, was that it wasn't really directed at you, eh. Diba?
Yes.
It wasn't really directed.
We know that as yung mga matagal sa kanya.
Sige, explain mo.
Ever since, even when I was second lieutenant during his chief of staff days, it's not my fault, but the bowling out was directed at the AD camp because sometimes he does not want naman to embarrass the person. Ganun siya, yung mga generals or secretaries. So, what we do as AD camps, pagka naramdaman na namin na medyo mainit niya, bubulungan na lang namin. Sir, medyo mainit ang panahon. So, with caution. If not, para hindi i-correct namin, we inform the officer or the secretary concerned to make the necessary adjustment para
maayos. But the other reason I understand is because he wanted the cabinet or whichever official to know that he was mad, but not directly.
Yes. And
parang deflection. Pero sa inyo, kayong sumasalo, pero alam nilang sila ang binibira.
Alam mo naman, PSYOPS officer si boss. Psychological operations, minsan ang ginagamit niya sa mga I would tell you a story. Remember yung may artificial shortage ng bigas din. Biglang tumaas yung presyo ng bigas during that time because of the cartel. He summoned the 7 or 8 alleged members ng cartel sa Malacanang. He gathered all the chiefs of the law enforcement agency, NBI, PNP chief, AFP, etc., pati yung PSG. In one small room, nandun yung 7. Pinapatay niya yung aircon. He let them wait for 1 hour or so. Talagang tagaktak na yun. Init. Small room sa Malacanang. Tapos, nung papasok na kami, Manny, kalabugin mo yung pinto. Blah! Shock yung mga alleged members ng cartel. Pusa. May shocking effect eh. Sabi niya, I want the price of rice to go down in 1 week. These are all the law enforcement officers from PNP. If you will not bring down the price of rice, I will let all these commanders go after you. Di siyempre, tanggi-tanggi yung Chinese. Oh, hindi yun. No, yun lang. List na. After 1 week, bagsak yung presyo ng bigas.
Talaga.
Gano'n lang.
You put the fear of God in them.
No.
After sweating them for about an hour. Oh my gosh. Matindi. What was hindi ko na what was an ordinary day like sa palasyo?
Sa palasyo usual.
Kasi iba pa yung provincial sa foreign. Tatanungin ko sa'yo.
Iba rin yung weekend niya.
Yeah, sige. Family. Regular day at the palace.
Eto, syempre, dapat ready ka na 4 or 5 o'clock. Depende sa schedule. But the latest is 5 o'clock. Siguro na naka-ready ka. Then we go to the office early. We check all that's where he signs mga documents. So maaga rin sila Balong, sila Norman, andun yung support staff. So even yung sila Jun Lusada, etc. So maaga sila. Then after that, yung mga schedule na ng mga meetings or kung may engagement sa labas. Meron siyang araw for ito yung for media, ito na yung for personnel meetings. So, may designated na siya even sa schedule niya. So, yung Wednesdays niya, for example, nandun yung mga media, kung kailangan niyang mag press con day. Yung cabinet meeting, of course, naka-reserve na yan.
Okay. Ano oras natatapos?
So, pagka yung mga hanggang gabi na yon, tuloy-tuloy na hanggang gabi.
What time normally?
11 or 12 midnight.
And you have to be up by, you have to be up and ready by 5 o'clock the next day.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay.
Sometimes nag-extend pa. Yung pag-uwi namin, galing engagement, for example, sometimes umabot pa kami ng 1 oras sa kotse. Sa kotse. Nandun na kami sa Arlegui. All the convoy, siya nandun. Dumating na kami sa nagpipirma pa yan sa loob ng kotse.
Hindi pa bumababa.
For about an hour, sometimes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
May lumalabas sa zero.
Ano yun? Why? Because he wanted to get it done
as
for
much
the
as
day.
possible. Pag may papeles sa kanya, hanggat maaari, clear out sa araw yan. And sa kanya, ayaw niyang magpasok sa loob ng bahay ng hindi tapos na mga trabaho. Parang ganon. That's why, pag lumabas siya ng kotse, tapos na.
All done. Ready na for pahinga talaga. O sige, provincial.
Provincial. Ito, of course, mas maaga yan. Kasi you have to fly out. It's either by helicopter or the presidential plane. So, nire-ready. Yung coordination yan, days before, may initial coordinations na. And, of course, yung mga dala-dala namin from the mga documents and sometimes mga support sa mga pupuntahan niya.
Here's something that I noticed during the provincial trips particularly. Yung penchant niya for technology. Nung panahon na yun, hindi pa naman uso ang fax. May fax na siya. Di ba? Nung panahon na yun, walang built-in na printer yung laptop. Meron na siyang laptop na may printer. Di ba?
Yung kotse namin, may fax machine yun.
Oh my God.
During that time. At that time na yung cellphone pa, yung malalaki. Hindi ba? Ganun ang gusto niyang you make use of technology to your advantage as a manager, as a president, as administrator. Kailangan nandun para mabilis.
Tapos naka-barcode yung mga dokumento.
Yes. Si Balong Arevalo was part of it na medyo ginamit niya. Marunong siya sa technology. So, inintroduce niya yung mga ganon para mas mapabilis yung mas efficient yung aming office work.
And may rotation ba? May shifting ba kayo? Wala ba yung from this time to this time, ikaw, after this time,
sa gabi na.
Sa gabi na
pagkatapos ng duty. Yung after 2 days or 3 days, sa gabi na yon. And you have to transmit kung ano yung mga instructions ni President Ramos. You have to transmit doon sa incoming duty para the following day, hindi mangangapa. Yun. Minsan, ayaw niya yung pumasok ka ng duty na hindi mo alam yung nangyari.
Yeah. So may turnover.
Yun yung mga SOPs na namin.
Stricto rin talaga, no? O sige, foreign trip.
Foreign trip. Yan, kasama kami lahat.
Everybody in.
Oo, kami ni Lanuel. Even sa aeroplano, nakikita mo, no? Sa aeroplano, nagtatrabaho siya. That's where he signs papers or yung mga speeches niya, mga talking points. Ayaw niya yung minasasayang na panahon eh. So, pagdating sa aeroplano, may time pa siya magtrabaho. That's why, sa aeroplano, may copiers kami, may laptop computers. Yun, kung pwede nga i-transmit minsan by satellite phone, kung kaya nung sa aeroplano, wifi. Wala pa kasi dati.
Wala. It was all starting pa lang di ba? At that time
siguro kahit nasa kahit airborne kami noon, minsan paglapag na lang sa kanan.
Yeah. I remember. Ang tanong ko, ano yung impact sa buhay mo, sa personal life mo, Manny?
Oh, yeah. Good question. When I was reviewing some of my personal photos at home, I noticed, no, yung mga family pictures. Bakit wala ako dyan? Bakit wala ako dyan? Ang graduation, birthday. Anong year ba yan? Yung 93 to 98. Parang may nabura sa social and family life ko. Kasi most of my time, nasa Malacanang. Pag hindi ako naka-duty, nandun ako sa Malacanang Park, performing my office work sa PSG.
Yes, yes.
Pag duty na ako kay boss, doon ako nakatira sa Arlegui. And pag foreign trip, kasama kami lahat.
Yeah.
So, more than 50% of my time was devoted to him during that 93 to 98. So, yun yung sinasabi kong most of the time, I was absent sa mga family affairs.
Okay.
Yun.
So you had to sacrifice that, Manny?
Yeah, part of being a military officer, police officer. Not only as, of course, mas matindi dahil AD-CAM to the President. Yung pagiging police officer na lang, medyo sakripisyo na. How much more? Mas matindi ang responsibility as security officer and AD-CAM to the President. But I was willing to, give that sacrifice. In fact, we were ready nga to offer the ultimate sacrifice. Yun ang aming sa PSG. We were ready to take the bullet for him.
Yeah, yeah. It's a personal question, but how did your family take it? You can answer if you want to. You don't have to answer if you don't want to.
I would say they knew my job. They accepted it. And even my children, eventually, close naman kasi we consider him as family na rin. Sabihin na nating isang bayan lang kami, parang pamilya rin yan His success or his failure is also our success or failure. So, they have come to love my job also and they accepted.
So the kid said, andun si Daddy with Lolo Eddie.
Oh,
yun
yes.
lang yun.
Of course, kaya nga yung mga pictures nila minsan sa December, malaking bagay na yun. Mag-iimbita si Boss Alapang with the family. Malaking bagay sa mga kids yun.
Okay. So how tight was the security with FBR? Lalo na yun, presidente na I mean, you mentioned that there were threats left and right when he was COS, when he was SND, pero lalo pa siguro nung
president, yes, of course. Talagang
dumadaan ba sa yung dumadaan sa yung
mga intelligence
threat,
reports,
yung yung threat scenarios for the day.
Yes. Sa amin we are may support staff naman kami, of course, yung buong PSG,
yes, yes.
So pag may special talagang incident or information, medyo talagang triple alert ang nyo ngayon. May ganito, i-brief kami ng yung intelligence chief ng PSG.
Now, at the time when you first noticed that he was turning politician, kamo nung nakipagkamayan sa dun sa mga pasahero dun sa transport terminal, sa jeep. So napansin mong from military man, nagiging politiko na. Presidente na siya, politiko na talaga siya.
Yes.
So ano yung sakit ng ulo nung
yun ang dilemma namin parati as security officer. We need to be strict with the security, but we have to allow the VIP to mingle with the crowd. Di ba? Security nightmare yan As a politician, as president, kailangan niyang dumikit sa constituents niya. But kaming mga security officers, as much as possible, we keep a certain distance. Dapat, So, alertness na lang ang, kumbaga, we are just banking on our instincts and preparations for security para walang untoward incident.
Pero naturalmente sa kanya, nagdidikit siya sa tao Parang magnet siya sa tao, Manny. Ano yun, tawa na lang pagka ganun. Sir, hindi pwede.
Oo.
Pero tuloy pa rin siya.
The usual kantsaw niya yan eh. Parang expression na lang. Pag nakakaramdam siya na kami yung takot, parang hindi kayo SF. Ganyan, parang hindi kayo SF. Parang hindi kayo Special Forces. Pag sa kanya kasi, pag Special Forces, you know your way in, out of tight situation. Parang ganun. Yan, masyado kayong nervyoso kung magaganon yung message niya.
Manny, andun ka nung ano, no? Andun ka nung APEC, PayPal visit.
Yes.
You were posted with him at that time. Lalo na yung APEC siguro. Ang laki nung challenge nun dahil you had what? You had to worry about him and 19 heads of state who were coming here. Can you tell me your recall of how difficult
the preparations, ano? Sabi ko nga, aside from our usual duties with him, pagdating ng madaling araw, nagre-rehearse pa kami. Nire-rehearse pa namin yung plan namin for APEC. Up to the point na yung movement ng all heads of economies from the hotels, sinasimulate namin yan. Nandun kami sa PICC.
Talaga?
Oo, madaling araw. Para walang sasakyan sa EDSA. Paano namin ma-sequence ng every 2 minutes darating sila dyan. Ganon. Pag tulog na lahat, kami gising.
Tuloy pa rin ang trabaho.
Tuloy pa rin ang trabaho.
Oh man. Yeah, but that was time and motion.
Oo.
Yung threat.
Yun,
Na
siyempre.
baka IED,
ibang threat ng US President, Russian President, Chinese Premier, etc. So, those are part of the inputs, yung mga considerations na kailangan i-discuss namin with our counterparts.
So there were you guys had to meet with your...
Yes, we had to meet with our security counterparts. May mga requirements sila, may mga, of course, they tell us kung anong limitations ng kanilang VIP. So, it was part of the planning.
And then kung may kulang, kayo ang nagpupuno.
Yes, oo.
Sakit ng ulo na namin. Okay. PayPal visit. Yun, nagkaroon pa ng ano yun, di ba? Sina Ramsey,
na-discover nila General Rason.
Yes.
Yun talagang actual and imminent threat yun. That during the visit, nagkaroon ng fire or small fire doon sa apartment na tinitira nila. Doon lang, luckily that was how it was unearthed, yung plano na Bujinka o Plan Bujinka. Sila General Rason ang naka-discover, sila yung nag-responde. Although nireport nung fireman na nung nag-respond yung fireman, nakita nila, hindi ordinary to, may mga bomba at components. So, nag-investigate sila, General Rason. And luckily, they got that laptop detailing the plan to assassinate the Pope.
But that was also, because PSG was providing support and security for the PayPal visit as well. At baka nandun din si FBR kung sakali.
Oo.
So ano yung nag-double, nag-triple?
Oo, talagang lahat. Tinodo-todo na namin yung security preparation. But ang problema nito, yung actual yung actual celebration or yung pinakamalaking event na even the Pope himself could not go to Quirino Grandstand dahil sa sobrang dami na nung tao. Si President Ramos at saka si Pope. That's why in-airlift na lang siya from Malacanang Park to the back of Quirino Grandstand. Ang initial plan din was overland, pero hindi talaga possible na. So, in-airlift na lang.
Problema nga. Just out of curiosity, Manny, so you were privy to a lot of the private meetings, top-level securities. So I suppose may non-disclosure kayo. So what you see, what you heard.
Yes. During that time, syempre, may mga hindi lang up to level ng ordinary, sabi mo, yung regular officers, senior officers sa PNP or sa AFP is ang level of security niya, clearance is secret. Ito top secret. Dapat yun ang pag AD camp ka, yun ang level ng security clearance mo. Because top level yung information na dumadaan sa iyo. Hindi pwede talagang
So, dadalin mo sa hukay mo. Ganun ba yun?
meron ganun, unless i-declassify ng government.
You stayed on up to 98.
Yes, up to his last day, June
To
30.
his last day. And then, may pabilin ba sa'yo? Nani, tapos na ako. But you have to stay on. So,
Yung kanyang usual advice, be good in your career. Ganun. Yun yung, but on my last day of duty sa kanya, hindi ko maintindihan naluluha ako na nag-break yung aking nung papaalaman na I was sad na hindi maintindihan. He was practically a second father to me.
Yes.
Ganun na yung turing ko sa kanya noon. Nag-break talaga yung voice ko na naluluha ako nung last day of duty ko sa kanya.
But how did you keep in touch? Obviously.
Yeah, dito.
Nagkikita-kita.
Minsan ka-text ko yung mga siyo.
Nagninong ba siya sa'yo?
Yeah.
Sa kasal?
Ninong ko siya sa kasal.
Okay.
1985.
Okay.
I got married March 30, 1985. So 1 week after my graduation in PMA.
Oh, okay.
So kinuha ko siyang ninong.
Oo nga. Ikaw yung constabulary awardee.
Oo. Yeah.
And you would meet often?
Yes.
Okay. Ano yung kwentuhan niyo pagka ganun?
Usually, kumusta na? Saan ka na naka-assign? Ganun siya. Tapos, lately, pag pumupunta siya sa Davao, of course, nire-receive ko siya. There was yung huling visit niya ron. I remember, dinala ko siya sa quarters ko, doon, nag-lunch kami doon sa quarters ko doon, RD's quarters. So, together with some of the former mga PSG officers, kita-kita kami.
What do you share with people about your tour of duty with FBR?
Minsan sila na yung di ba, nag-duty ka, ikaw ang aide nun, ganun. So, we share mga stories.
Ano yung reaction nila pagka ano yung reaction ng mga tao pag na-discover nila? Nung Pangulo yan, ako yung nandun. Ako yung anino niya.
Hindi ko na masyadong as much as possible. Yung hindi nakakalam, hindi na ako nag-istorya. Pero pag alam nila, sila, open kami.
Or when they discover na ikaw pala yun.
Oo.
Okay. So ano yung reaction nila ng tao pagka gano'n?
Very challenging yan, gano'n. Yung trabaho niya. Ano ka pala kay FBR nun, gano'n. Pero nung pagdating ko sa Mindanao, of course, nandun sila Sir Paul Dominguez. Manny, kumusta na?
Sa lahat ng dinaanan mo, kasama siya. All the way from your, graduation, PMA, all the way to... Would you do it all again?
Yeah, sure. I'm willing to do it all over again.
Talaga?
As I have said, I owe my career sa kanya, yung mga tutunan ko. He is the kind of a boss na he may be bawling you out, but actually he's training you. He's teaching you. At ako, nung sabi ko nga, second lieutenant ako, I was observing him. Natututo ako sa kanya na na-apply ko nung I was already a general. Doon ako natuto sa kanya. So, malaking bagay. Even the style of work niya sa office, mga decision making, sa conduct, marami akong natutunan sa kanya. I tell you, nagkaroon ako ng confidence makipag-usap sa mga ambassadors, even heads of state because of him. Isusubo ko niyan minsan. This is my special assistant. Ganyan. Please talk to him for a while, gano'n. Isubukan niya, gano'n. He would give you the opportunity para ma-develop yung skills mo.
Para mag-shine.
Oo. Alam mong, sinusubo ka niya, hindi para isubo or pahamak, but to train you. Ganun siya.
Did he give you advice, career advice?
Yes.
Oh, you take this, you take that.
Oo. Pero hindi siya yung tipong, tawag nito, ang training niya sa amin, we don't go to him pag gusto namin ng magagandang assignment eh. It's a no-no for us. Hindi namin ginagawa sa kanya yun. We shape our own career. But of course, with his guidance, kung ano, minsan magbibigay siya ng mga advices.
Advice.
Pero kung mga pagpili ng assignment, yan ang hindi namin ginagawa. We don't even invoke his name.
Meron ka bang special FBR moment? Most memorable incident na involved siya, kasama siya?
Oo. Sa akin, yung umpisang-umpisa, yung Special Action Force. Kasi siya yung nag-award ng aking SAF beret. Sa akin, very special yon. Hindi pa ako nagjo-duty sa kanya noon. I was just an ordinary SAF officer. It was February 25, 1986.
Wow.
Nung mismong panalo na, doon sa corner ng Camp Crame, yung senior officers quarters doon. So, masaya na, celebration, and I just earned my SAF beret. So, memorable. Yung tradition namin sa SAF, buhusan ng beer. So, I still keep that SAF beret until now.
Talaga?
Naka-display yon sa bahay ko. Ito, yung nag-award sa akin ng SAF beret ko, si FBR.
My last question generally is about what you think is his greatest legacy as president. But maybe sa'yo, what is FBR's lasting legacy for you as a military, as a professional military police officer?
Let me start muna sa Pilipinas during his time. Of course, siya yung from 1992 talagang dark days natin. Yan yung economy natin. Siya yung naibenta niya yung Pilipinas from 1992 to 95, 96. Kung hindi lang yung ASEAN crisis noon. Tuloy-tuloy niya. Nakita ko kung paano niya i-uplift, ibenta, i-promote ang Pilipinas sa international leaders, lahat. Yun yung effort niya. How to bring up our economy. Yun ang nakita kong legacy niya sa buong Pilipinas. Sa akin naman, as an officer, yun nga, natuto talaga ako sa kanya. Whatever my style or yung pamamalakad ko from second lieutenant up to mag-general din ako, malaking influence siya sa karir ko. Yung conviction ko, values sa karir. Sila, FBR, General Rason, General Velasco, yung mga nakasama namin sa SAF. Until now, I'm still a proud SAF trooper. Nandun yung foundation namin. Kung ano yung mga values na natutunan namin sa SAF. We still keep it.
It's a brotherhood of sorts.
Yes. More than a brotherhood.
Okay. Thank you very much, Manny. Salamat. Maraming salamat.
Salamat din for this opportunity.